Hi, and welcome to Coffee with Claire. Adversity is the diamond dust that heaven uses to polish its jewels. Have you ever heard that term before? When you think about it, adversity does make us all shine. At the beginning, it doesn't feel very good because it's getting rubbed up against us and making us feel uncomfortable. But when you exit and you get to the other side, how much better do you feel? How much higher is your self-esteem? How much shinier and brighter are you as a person? And so adversity can actually be turned into something really good. In fact, Del Close, one of the founders of improv, always said, fall and figure out what you're going to do while you're going down. So we all fall sometimes. It's a matter of how creative are you in picking yourself up and moving forward. So my challenge for you this week is to think about some adversity that you're looking at and how are you facing it? Are you being brave and facing it head on, or are you cowering behind the curtains? Let us know how you're doing on Coffee with Claire on our Facebook page, because we stand behind you. Each week we have entrepreneurs, people who give back to the community, and people who like to have fun as our guests here at Coffee with Claire. And Todd Drake is all that and more. So thank you, Todd Drake, for being here today.
Claire, I appreciate you having me today.
Absolutely. So let me tell you a little bit about Todd. So Todd is the president and owner of Todd Drake Diamonds. He graduated from Texas A&M with a BBA. He also went to the University of North Texas and received a master's in financing and marketing, and he's done doctoral work at Dallas Baptist University in healthcare management. He initially worked in the corporate world and worked at Brinker International, but he wanted to get away from the grind and help his family in areas where he was trained to help them take the business to the next level. He has taken their small family business and turned it into a multi-million-dollar international wholesale retail jewelry and manufacturing enterprise. He's a competitive athlete also and enjoys a great game of baseball when he can pry himself away from his business. He works 24/7, so he has to fit it in there somewhere.
Maybe softball these days.
Well, softball is kind of tough and competitive. I've been out there playing.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those people are kind of mean. So, but Todd is not. Todd has a very unique perspective on life, and I'm sure that it'll motivate you as much as it motivates me. And before we get into your business history, Todd, I'd like to talk a little bit about your backstory and how it inspired you to do all of the amazing things that you've been able to do up to this point. I know you're not done yet. So
I hope not.
No, you're way on that upward trend there. So would you mind telling our audience a little bit about the accident that changed your world as you knew it?
Sure, I'd love to. As a youngster in 1980, I was electrocuted. Sorry?
It's okay.
I was burned in Arlington. I was blown 10 feet back, 10 feet up. They care flighted me to Parkland Hospital. I was fortunate, very fortunate. My father worked for a bank here in town. He was on the board of Dallas Federal Savings, which is it's an old bank, old Dallas bank, so which is kind of neat. And so it was intense. It was roughly April, and so it was around the clock 15 reconstructive surgeries.
15?
15.
Wow.
They amputated my arm. They took ligaments and biceps out of my muscle. Had nerve damage in my left hand. They took off all my toes. So it was crucial.
Yeah.
Very crucial. So at a young age, I had to develop some skills that were things that you might not learn until you're older.
Yeah.
Which is neat because my father was very hard on me, which is, looking back now, he just did it out of love. So anyway, you can date back and look some of the videos when I played baseball and whatnot. But unfortunately, I got sent to A&M to go study accounting.
Did you say unfortunately or fortunately?
Yeah. I wasn't allowed to go play baseball anywhere. Yeah, I didn't have an option. No, I wanted to walk on and maybe play somewhere. But frankly, that at that point in my life, it was education was the important factor.
So we've got a video clip that will show you that was done when you were playing baseball in Arlington. So
Yeah,
we'll
it's-
watch that video.
Yes.
And it truly is inspiring.
Well, thank you, Claire.
You're welcome. So you have overcome so much adversity. What was it that helped you just keep going? To get up every day and say, you know what, I've had all this happen to me, but I've got a whole lot more that I can contribute.
Frankly, it's my belief in Jesus Christ. It's not so much that I have something to prove, but maybe I can contribute to people in a way of showing people that you can still do things beyond your handicap or what's your consequences in life. And it continues for everybody. Everybody has their pain. It depends. Some people have autism, or some families. There's might be alcoholism or whatever. But ours was me putting me back together. So
Right.
so we had to pull together. It was neat. It's a neat story. Back in Arlington, back in the day, a lot of the Ranger kids played. So Buddy Bell would come by the house. Tom Grieve.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. My dad coached. He coached baseball. The ironic part is he played baseball at Texas Tech, and so I had a mentor that he was tough on me too. So it was an interesting story. It's kind of neat.
Well, it's amazing that you didn't let it just get you totally down and say, I give up. And there's a lot of people out there that would have. And so I commend you for, saying, you know what, all right, this is the hand that was dealt me, and I'm going to play the hand to its fullest. I got a full house, and I'm going to go for it. So good for you.
Right. We're
Yeah.
from Texas, right?
Texans are tenacious, aren't they?
Texas Hold'em. We're all in, right?
That's right, dadgummit. So, you've had a lot of different types of businesses that you've
Right.
worked on throughout the years. I mean, your family started the business, right? Did your
Right,
mom start
right.
the
My
business?
my mother actually in Arlington, when I was off at college, worked for a gentleman, and she was in the industry. So at that point, it was kind of a history. There was time for us to leave. My sister went to the University of Texas, and she was working here in Dallas, and I actually had a job offer in Houston, and got on the phone with my mom. She's like, "No, you're coming. You're a Dallas kid, so you're coming back here, or an Arlington kid, whatever you want to call me." Landed a job at Brinker and just hit it running. It seems like the '80s kids when we came out of college, it was you kind of did what you had to do.
Right.
You work for a company for a couple of years, maybe go back to school, be an entrepreneur. Which in my mind, I think that's what's happening with the millennials. Maybe the millennials are getting a bad reputation, but I think what's swinging back around is they're going to be forced to do what we had to do in the '80s.
Yeah. Well, there's a 40-year trend, and
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they've looked at it from like 500 years ago, and we go from a we to me, we to me, we to me, and there's a book about it called The Pendulum, and it was written in 2012 by I can't remember the guy's name now, but
That's fascinating.
Yeah, and what he figured out is that we're right in the middle of moving back to that we thing, to where it's all about us working together
Right.
in groups, and millennials love
Right.
teamwork,
Right.
and rather than working on their own.
Right.
So I think it'll be interesting to see how that changes
Yeah.
the entrepreneurship
Right.
model.
Because don't they get in together and entrepreneur, and then they try
Yeah.
to pick each other's brains and collaborate and whatnot?
Collaboration
So-
is a huge word.
Yeah.
And so but the collaboration I think is cool because it's like, one mind has one idea, and you get a bunch of people together, and you have this great idea, then another great idea, another great idea, and pretty soon it's like something that no one's ever thought of before, and it's,
Right.
your competition's like, well, why didn't we ever think of that?
Right.
That's
Well,
because
it's-
you didn't collaborate.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got their individual talent, you
Yeah.
know. So these guys, the younger kids get in there. One might have marketing skills, even though he might have studied something else.
Right, yeah, you might just be a natural at it.
Exactly. So it's kind of fascinating. I think I pray and hope that they put it together.
They will. I mentor them up at the University of North Texas, and I
Do you?
have, yes, I've been
Yeah?
a member of the professional leadership program.
Oh, good. That's awesome.
Up there under the College of Business umbrella for 9 years, and
Right.
the students that come through there are brilliant. They wear me
Right.
out, though. I mean,
Yeah, sure. A lot of energy. Right? Yeah. That's when I'm.
4.0, working 4 jobs.
That's when I know. That's when I'm around my nieces. They're Ashley's. She's in going to nursing school, and Haley. One day she wants to be a vet, and the next day she wants to be a cosmetologist. I'm like, what are we gonna do?
We're gonna have really pretty animals.
Yeah, yeah, they're gonna figure it out. I'm like, it's kind of neat.
Well, you developed another company called Web Technologies in 1997, and you had a 2,000 square foot showroom. What was that all about?
Well, we had grown. We started out at Frankfurt on the toll road.
Okay.
I don't know if you're aware with Dallas, but the toll road stopped at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So we were kind of on the brink of everything's heading north. There was no way we could compete in University Park or Highland Park or obviously the neat thing is my buddy from Houston came in town and started working with me. Mm-hmm. So being an Aggie, we networked that angle, and my sister would pitch in and bring in some University of Texas people, and mm-hmm. So with my mom with the connections and the background, we just kind of all learned, So of course, a family business. One day you start fighting.
Well, you do that whether you have a business or not.
Oh, is it? Is it? Yeah, like Thanksgiving,
right? Yeah, Christmas, and
yeah.
It's been a high stress time.
Yeah,
Everybody gets together.
Yeah. And no, it was fascinating.
So, what happened when 9/11 hit for your company?
Well, what happened is I developed a 2,000 square foot showroom, and I actually put a live bench jeweler in in the store where you come in, and because some people are a little paranoid about it took us a while to build a reputation. Obviously no one just wants to. Some kids or the younger people will walk in and they'll just give their stuff away, and they don't have any idea what's going to happen to it. And we're kind of from the old school where we want to look someone in the eye, and
mm-hmm.
and so our reputation. But we moved to Plano, right there at the edge of 75093, which is they developed Willow Bend Mall, mm-hmm. and we were right there in that same area, Park and the toll road. Yeah, Super Target. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was it was an exciting time, and the store was set to open, and it opened on September 4th, 2011. Mm. And I was actually in my I lived downtown, and I would always drive up north to work. And I woke up that morning and looked at the television, and mm-hmm. and there was a terrorist attack, mm-hmm. and it was almost like I was living in some sort of nightmare. I called my mom, and she's like, "Todd, did you see that?" I'm like, "Did this really happen?" She's like, "Yeah." So, that being said, there's this huge store, 2,000 square feet, and which is it was kind of scary because I would walk in and a lot of the customers would come rushing and wanting to sell their merchandise, and we don't do that. We're not a pawn shop.
Right.
We like to celebrate life, celebrate the joy and the happiness, go to the weddings and be a part of the happy part of it. And I just there's a time where there would be a month would go by where nobody would even walk in.
Wow.
So, I mean, not that I was going to have a heart attack or anything. I was like, we'll get it figured out.
Yeah.
And as you know, at that point, that's when the Great Recession started. Mm-hmm. So, at that point, politically, I think at that point is George W. Bush was in office. Mm-hmm. So, it was a crucial time in the United States.
Yeah, and it was tough on businesses, but you guys were still able to push through and move forward.
We pushed through 2008. Yeah, we did. And it was time at that point in my life to go back to school and maybe just kind of, free myself from the retail, because it's hard, it's demanding being on your feet and,
right.
Speaking every day. Sometimes we're not all in the best mood, right?
Right.
So, but we made it, and it was time to go a different angle. And so at that point, I laid off and went back to Dallas Baptist, thinking that I could maybe contribute to the healthcare crisis. which
And when you dug into it, you found?
I dug into it. I found it was not for me, and it was
Okay.
way too confusing. And it was just, I was like, this is just impossible. How are we going to figure this out? And I think just now, politically, I think they're just now starting to figure it out.
And it'll be interesting to see how things continue to unfold.
Yeah.
And so you found out that that didn't work for you, and so you came back to the family business, and now you guys are running strong. And Todd actually brought some samples for us to take a look at, and one of the samples he brought was this ring. And what's in this stone here? I'll hold it up for you guys to see it.
That's Tanzanite.
Tanzanite. It's beautiful blue. It kind of looks like a sapphire, but not as dark.
It's from Tanzania, Africa.
Well, that makes sense.
Right? It's platinum on the inside and then
Okay.
18 karat gold on the outside.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a classic piece.
So what's tougher, silver or gold? I mean, if you're going to make a ring that really is going to hold up to a lot of abuse, what's better, silver or gold?
Silver is not good.
Okay, so gold
It's
would be better.
Yeah,
That sounds
gold.
like it.
Yeah, it's a porosity factor.
Okay.
Gold has a certain amount of porosity. 14 karat. Sometimes people are like, well, I want to do 14 because I'm rough on it. A lot of gals they're real rough on their rings, and 18 karat you got to be a little more gentle with it because it's just softer. It's a chemistry thing. Where 14 karat is 58% gold.
Okay.
Where 18 karat is 75% gold.
Okay, so it's a little bit softer. And then I know that there's a lot of people this time of year, they're getting married, they're getting ready to, or get engaged and stuff like that. So what are some tips that you might be able to give a shopper that maybe doesn't really know what to look for in a diamond, since you've got the name Diamond in your name, Diamonds?
Yeah, well, I'm big in it. It seems like content marketing is the trend, and that's kind of what I've studied, and that's what I do on LinkedIn, I do on Facebook, is I give information. I try to pour people with information because I want them to know what they're stepping into, which is it's fascinating. It's taken a while. A lot of the young kids that are coming out of A&M and stuff will contact me because of the association of former students, and I'm like, I'm not going to solve the problem for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to help. I'm going to teach you before we even move down the road.
Right.
I want to give you the websites. I want you to study them. We're not just going to immediately talk pricing. It's that's not fair.
So what do you look for? These are diamonds in here, right? Diamonds.
Yeah. Well, there's in baguettes it's you've got to have an extreme amount of clarity.
Okay.
Because the faceting is open faceted.
So you don't want to have a
cloudy. You don't want to have inclusions, basically.
Okay, inclusions.
Yeah, and then the color of the stone, people get that confused as well. It's on a scale from DEF is colorless, and there's near colorless, which is GHIJ.
Okay.
You drop below that, you're in hot water, I think.
So you don't want a K.
Well, some people do, but you have to set it in yellow gold. But that's not really our angle. We shoot for. I mean, our competitors are more. We compete with like Tiffany's and Bachendorf's, but they have to find us. I mean, there's a certain amount of status, of course, in the Metroplex where some people want to go and go to Tiffany's and Bachendorf's, and that's fine. That's great.
Sure.
Yeah, it's neat.
There's a lot for everyone. There's a lot of shoppers in the Dallas area.
Yeah, there's a huge amount of shopping. Yeah, isn't that what Dallas does? Shop.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Shopping therapy.
So it can be very therapeutic. So it sounds like that you guys do a lot of education along with your marketing, to make sure that you're matching up the clients with the right clients with you guys that are looking for quality, as well as making sure that they know what they're buying before they actually buy it.
Exactly, and that's what I like to do. Is when the social media revolution came on, I read a book by Lee Oden, which is called Optimize, and it combines content marketing with optimization as far as keywords from Google Ads. There's a lot of technical issues with it. Facebook came out in 2007, 2006.
Yeah, we had a
Wasn't
Facebook
that,
expert
wasn't
on.
that amazing?
Yeah, and how quickly things can spread, good or bad. So you have to make sure that you're monitoring
You
it.
do have to be
Yeah.
careful. In fact, I monitor it personally, just because. And what's just kind of neat is some people are like, "Hey, Todd, it's been hacked," which is neat because I've got friends that'll watch.
Yeah, and you can take care of it
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah, because it's a little dangerous. Someone posts something rude or something inappropriate. It can damage your reputation, frankly.
Right, yeah, and you can't scrub that out. So,
Yeah.
what advice would you have for those that are getting ready to open up their own business? Maybe they've had kind of an adverse situation to where it's made them take a step back. What kind of advice would you give them?
What I would do is I would find the cheapest house I could find and I would rent it.
Okay.
And just start from the bare bones.
Oh, okay. So just minimize their life.
down,
Okay,
and that's
then grow
that's
again.
what I did. That's
Got
when
it.
I started. I lived on the end streets back in the day, and I had several friends. One worked for the Cowboys, and one was studying law, and I was pursuing diamonds, and we all split the rent, lived in the end streets, and everybody got up and had their own way at 8 o'clock. Let's go try to make something happen, right?
So live within your means and make sure that every day you're
Yeah.
moving forward on your dream.
Yeah, try to. You got to keep trying.
That's right. Well, Todd, it's been very inspirational to have you here
Okay.
today. Thank you so much for being a part of Coffee with Claire.
Claire, it's been an absolute pleasure.
All right, today we are going to be playing a game called Story, where these four lovely people are going to be telling all of you a story based on our in-audience suggestions. And when I tap on their shoulder, they're going to begin speaking. But when I take my hand off their shoulder, that's when they're going to stop. And the next person that I tap has to pick up the story exactly where they left off, even if it was in the middle of a word. So, players, introduce yourselves. I am Shelby.
Claire.
Ellen. Ruthie.
I'm Todd.
And we'll get started.
All right. So we need a suggestion.
Oh, we do need an audience suggestion. All right. What is a title of a story that has never been told before?
The
The Dancing Kangaroo.
Okay.
All right.
Well, one day a kangaroo woke up and said, "Oh my gosh, I need..."
To go to the store and get some kangaroo food. My name is Edward, and this is the story of what?
Story of dancing. Because the kangaroo dances, right?
Which is the dream of all kangaroos. Edward was so happy to be...
On his way to the store, as he was dancing, as he liked to do on all of his trips to the store, he suddenly tripped over a crack.
and said, "Oh my gosh, I cracked my toenail and I need to find a hospital quickly because I need..."
I'm going to start hopping now because toenails are bad.
When I got to the hospital, the doctor said it didn't look very good, but I'm determined to keep dancing.
Because that is my dream. I must fulfill my dream. Nobody can stop me. Not even this hurt, cracked... It hurts.
And the moral of this story is, if you're going to be a dancing kangaroo named Edward, do not stub your toe. The end.
Thank you for having me. So excited.
I'm glad that you're here, Jacqueline. So my first question for you is, we are all so busy. How do you balance fun with responsibility at work?
Oh my goodness, I have fun at work. I tell you, music and working and just excited to be. When you love what you do, your responsibilities comes easy. So I love what I do. So when my responsibilities, it's fun meeting people.
Awesome. So what are some of the fun things about growing your business?
Oh, the exciting things about growing the business is meeting people, collaborating with them, and allowing them to know that what it is, the services that I'm offering, we can grow together. So collaborating and meeting people is fun.
Well, and it gets a lot of work done too.
It gets a lot of work done. You meet people and they begin to enjoy having fun with you.
Right, so they want to help. So what advice could you give someone that might be struggling right now as to how to keep it fun?
Ooh, I would tell them to invite relaxation into their schedule. To invite just rethinking some things and looking at it and stirring at it until they get excited about going out, rinsing and repeating it, doing it over and over
Rinsing
again.
and repeating. Okay, awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about your business.
Oh, I'm so excited. Adventure and Victory provide life skills, prayer, and community outreach service to low-income disadvantaged. Women have an opportunity to tap into their hidden potential, unleash the power within, tap into the world, and step out in front of the world and allow them to share. They get to share who they really are, their authentic self. So I get excited about helping individuals grow, tap into their authentic self by providing transformational life skills.
So, if you were to have a happy dance or a happy stance, what would that look like? So, how do you choose to face adversity? Do you face it head on, or are you cowering behind a corner? Either way is okay, but one is a higher percentage choice. You're going to get a higher payoff by facing it head on rather than trying to avoid it, because it's still going to be there. If you're having challenges, let us know. Let us know on Coffee with Claire Facebook page. And remember, even through adversity, you can find the silver lining and follow that fun. See you next time.